Hello, everyone, and welcome to Professional DevOps Learning Channel with DevOps Engineer Luis. In today's video, we're going to be learning a bunch of Maven commands. So, first, you're going to cd into your Maven app project, or you cd into the Maven Apache. This is for checking for necessary files. You're going to do ls bin slash. This checks bin slash contains bash files or binary files. And then you're also going to do ls config slash. This contains configurations like settings.xml. You're also going to do ls lib slash. Lib slash contains jar files and libraries. Next, once you're done with that, you're going to go back to your um, Maven app project. Now inside your Maven app project, you're going to do nvm package. It will create packages in the target directory, such as jar, war, and er. nvm clean deletes old builds in the target directory, deletes old builds in the target directory, not in the repository. nvm package clean dash log. This does the same thing, however, it will direct all of the information into a file called log so that it doesn't make a mess on your screen. Same thing with a clean package. However, you shouldn't do nvm package clean because nvm package clean will create a new package but deletes all the previous packages, including the new package. Therefore, if you had hard work, like for example, if you just built a new app, when you do nvm package clean, then it will create the package, then automatically destroy it. So you should do clean package instead. This one cleans old builds, then creates a new one in its place. nvm-x package will build it in debuggy mode to show all the errors and the lines of code. nvm validate, it will validate the project structure, project resources, and resource files that is in the code. nvm compile, it will compile all the Java app into Java classes, making it a human readable file. nvm tests will run all the unit test cases that you have written in your application. nvm install will install the build art it will install the build artifacts in the target repository and the Maven local repository. The default location for the Maven local repository is .m2/repository. nvm deploy, it will upload the build artifacts in the Maven remote repository. These are another set of Maven commands. nvm clean install will remove old builds, however, will remove old builds and target the repository and adds a new one in its place. But it will not remove the builds in the Maven local repository. nvm package dash dskip test. It will skip all the test cases for the packages while it's building. This could be a way to speed up the building processes if you know already that the tests are gonna pass. jar dash java dash jar file name.jar will deploy standalone applications and will run the jar script. scp-i keyname.pem war ycart war name, well, the name of your war application, ec2-user at ip address :opt/tomcat9 slash web apps is to deploy Tomcat, is to deploy in Tomcat. However, we'll be talking about Tomcat later on in our DevOps learning training. nvn package-pl module name is to build a specific module. We'll cover this in the next videos to come. Now, let's go ahead and practice in Mobile Xterm. cd into opt Maven. Now that we're inside Maven, let's do ls bin. This is to list all the binary and bash files that we have. So we have our m2 config, nvm, all of our files that we need are here. Now ls config is to list all the configuration files. Wait, let me check how to spell it. nvm conf. So ls conf. So we have our settings.xml. So all our things that we would normally have in our configurations are there. Now let's do ls lib. And yep, we pretty much have all our library files and all our jar files. We can see jar. We have all of them. So now let's cd out of opts to Maven, and if we do pwd, where are we? We are in a home/ec2-user. Now let's just clear our screen. Clear. Now if we do ls, we can see we have our app project here. For me it's called Sony, but for you guys it will be called differently. So let's cd into Sony. Now inside Sony as ls, we have our pom.xml and we also have our src. So let's ls src to see what we have. Right, I spelled src wrong. Now we can see we have our main code and our test cases. Now that we've ls src, let's do nvn build. This is our first command. We're going to build our application. nvn build. Build failure. Let's see why it failed. Oh right, wrong command. We need to do nvn package. Now that we're packaging, we can see it's downloading our dependencies from the central repository. See, central. And the build is successful. So let's do ls. And we can see we have our target directory now. Let's ls target. And let's see what we have. In our target directory, we have our Maven standalone application, our jar. So let's go back to see our next command. Our next command is nvn clean. This will delete all the old builds in our target directory and not in the repository. So let's do nvn clean to see if our target directory is now build success, which means that it has removed it. You can see it took 1 second and 1 second to finish. How long did it take for this one? It took 5 seconds. The timing depends on how much you have in your code and in your test cases. So let's ls. We can see our target directory is now gone. Let's do nvn package clean. This is one of the commands I would not recommend you doing, because it will remove all your files and it will remove all your builds that you made. Let's enter. And we can see we can't see what all these infos because they're inside log.txt. So if we do cat log.txt, we can see it has build success, 0 errors, 1 test ran, 0 errors, so it passed. All our tests passed. Now let's do ls, and we can't still see our target directory. You know why? Because it has been deleted since we did nvn package clean. Now let's do nvn package. Build success. Let's ls. See our target directory. Now let's do nvn clean and package. Let's direct this into log.txt. Now let's cat log.txt. And what do we have? We have our build is successful. Let's ls. You can see we have our new target directory. This is our previous target directory, and this is our new target directory. Now let's look at the time and let's review the timing between our first package and our second package. Now we can see this one took 2.24 seconds compared to our first one, which took 5 seconds. The reason why it took longer is because it had to download from the central repository. It had to download our dependencies. But now that it's downloaded it and stored it in a Maven local repository where dependencies are stored, it just needs to get the dependencies from there and use the dependencies, which makes it faster and quicker. So if you accidentally delete a dependency, then you can always download it from the central repository or the normal repository. Let's check our next command. And our next command is nvn-x package. nvn-x package. This will run it in debugging mode. Let's put it in log.txt. Okay, maybe we don't put in log.txt. Unable to parse command line. Unrecognized option. Oh, it's capital X, not lowercase x. Capital X, and let's enter. You can see all the debugging. So we have our info and our debug. This will fill up space in the log.txt. If you made it in log.txt, you can see all our debugging commands and see that, well, all the info for every line of command is there. So, oh yeah, guys, normally nvn validate, compile, and test. These are for coders and developers. These guys are specializing in detecting subtle changes in the files. So we don't really need to cover that. And let's go ahead and do nvn install. Now, most of you may be wondering, what's the difference between nvn package and nvn install? Well, if you haven't seen that, please click on the eye that should appear, and I have explained it in our previous video on the difference between nvn package and nvn install. Well, let me just recap it. nvn package does the validate, the compile, and the testing. It tests it to see if the code works fine, and once it's done, it makes it into it makes it into a jar application. Npm install, on the other hand, will do the same thing. However, it will also make the jar not only in the target directory but also in the Maven local repository. It stores in the Maven local repository as a backup. So in case you accidentally did npm clean and it destroyed all the hard work you did in the target directory, if you did npm install, then all your work would be backed up in the Maven local repository, which is really good. So let's go ahead and test npm install. Npm install. Build success. Let's do ls. You can see we still have our target directory. Now let's see cd into dot m2 slash cd into dot m2 cd into dot m2 repository. Let's cd into there. Now we're inside the repository. Let's do ls. It's not here. Let's cd back. Let's cd back into opt slash maven to see maybe if we had changed the custom maven local repository. So let's cd. Now we can see let's cd into config conf, my bad. Now inside conf, let's ls. Let's vi into settings .xml. Now that we cite settings.xml, let's scroll down and we can see our local repository. Our local repository, the default is ec2 user slash m2 slash home, so it is there. So let's go back. Seems easy. Let's cd back. Now let's ls. Wait, pwd first. Now let's ls slash home slash ec2 user slash dot m2 slash repository, and we should see our jar package. Maybe it will work if we did npm clean install. This is to remove what we have in the target directory. So let's cd into Sony. Now let's ls. See, the target directory is there. We need to remove our target directory, so we do npm clean install. Now that we're doing npm clean install, it should remove all the old target directory and make a new one. So ls, we see the target directory is there. Now that's ls. That's ls home slash user slash ec2 dot m2 repository. Now that we've cleared our screen, let's go inside. Let's cd into opt. This is to set our Maven custom local repository. Yeah, once we set a Maven custom local repository, we would be able to see all the jar artifacts we've built. using nvm install. So cd install opt maven and conf. Now inside conf, let's ls. You can see settings.xml. Let's sudo vi into settings.xml because we don't have full access over settings.xml. Now inside, let's scroll down until you can see the local repository. So over here, I'm going to enter insert mode. We're gonna copy this. Now that we've copied it, we're going to paste it here, but except we're going to change the location. Let's change it to home of the EC2 user. And the repository name, let's call it custom Maven local repository. Now let's shift ZZ. Our work should be saved, and if we cd back, do ls pwd home of user EC2. Let's cd back in, sudo vi back into it, see if maybe we did any errors. Right, we need to first cd into maven config sudo vi it's here, should have worked. Alright guys, now that we've set our Maven custom local repository, let's first cd into our Sony directory. So we'll do cd Sony. Now that we're inside Sony, we're going to ls to show what our files there. You can see our target directory is already there, so let's do nvn clean first. Nvn clean install. When we're doing nvn clean install, it will create our Maven custom local repository. Because we set it in pom.xml, we need to create it. So the installation will be the initialization to create the custom Maven local repository. So it shows us build success. So you see we can it's downloaded from the central repository, and if we look closely, we can see that over here it's saying installing from home of EC2 user Sony target directory Maven standalone application to home install user to Maven custom local repository and the Maven standalone application. There's where it's stored in the custom Maven local repository. So if we just copy this and ls and paste it, you can see that our Maven standalone application is there. So it installed, and then let's clear our screen first. Now that we've cleared it, let's list it to see if our work is really there, and you can see it's over there, 0.00 snapshot1. So let's do nvn clean to clean. So basically, since we already have it in the Maven custom local repository, if we do nvn clean and we still do ls, it is still there because this is our like backup. Because we did nvn clean, it will only delete from our target directory. It won't delete in our Maven custom local repository. So this is useful for if you want to save backups of like you have apps and you have different versions, you want to save backups of the different versions, you can do nvn clean install, which will save lots of backups. So what's our next command? We already did all of that. All right, let's do nvn deploy then. Nvn package first before we deploy it. Now that we've done nvn package, we have our package. We need to deploy it, so we're going to do nvn deploy. And we can see it's downloading, and wait, build failure. Okay, so let's just do, we did nvn clean install. So what's next? nvn package skip test. nvn package skip test is useful for when you have like lots of lines of code that you want to package. You can do nvn skip test to speed up the process, because if you already did the testing, you can do skip test to make sure that to make it faster, like make it deploy faster. So what's our next command? Let's just copy it and paste it to show you how to really do it. First, we need to do nvn clean. So then we'll do nvn package skip tests. And it's doing all of that. And you can see that the build is faster than it was before. You see it's 1.9 seconds, which is, well, faster than how it actually was. The speed will depend on how much you have in your file, how much you have. So what's our next command? Java-jar. So we're going to do java-jar file name.jar, and the rest, this java-jar file name.jar will deploy our application, meaning it will run our Java lines of code to see if it's really working. So if we do ls, you can see our target directory is there. Now let's cd into target. Now inside target, we do ls. You can see our Maven standalone application.jar is there. So we're going to do java-jar, then the file name, which is Maven standalone application jar. And now you can see, hello engineers, welcome to Open Space DevOps Masterclass. You're studying the Maven build tool. Today is time, and today's date is da 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 da. So this is our line of code that we have inside our Maven standalone application jar. Congratulations on watching the full video. Remember, practice makes perfect. If you have any questions, please comment it in the comment section down below. I'll see you all in the next video as you continue your DevOps learning journey with DevOps Lewis.